Boker Tov, Rabotai, Shalom Aleichem. Welcome to Sheviit in the Mishnah Yomi. This is Rabbi Kovacs. It is the first day of Iyar. Good Chodesh, happy Rosh Chodesh. It is the 16th day of the Omer, and today we are starting Sheviit in the first Mishnah of the first parak. Sheviit is about the seventh. Sheviit is literally seventh, what we call Shemitah. Shemitah meaning relinquish, because we are commanded to relinquish working, to cease working in an agricultural way on the land of Eretz Israel every 7 years. It's a Shabbaton la'aretz. It's Shabbos for the land. And we're also commanded to relinquish loans and debts. We'll find out about that as well. But most of the Mishnah that we're going to see are agricultural in nature. And the first Mishnah is actually about Tosefet Shviit. Like we have Tosefes Shabbos, Erev Shabbos. We don't start Shabbos right at Shkia. Only Hashem knows the exact moment. So we add on a few minutes. Usually the minhag is 18 or 20 minutes. Sometimes in Eretz Yisrael, they'll even start an hour before. God bless them. But so we have a similar concept for Sheviit, that even before Sheviit, we don't start plowing a field, because plowing a field is typically preparation for the planting done next year. But that's for grains. So let's take a look at Mishnah Aleph. Ad eimatzai chorshin bistei ilan erev Sheviit. Until when, up until which point, are we allowed to plow in a stei ha'ilan, a field of trees, erev Sheviit? Now, stei ilan is an orchard or a grove, or even just we're going to see 3 trees, but it's different from a stei lavan. Stei lavan is what we'd call in English amber waves of grain, a grain field. If you're plowing a grain field, Rabotai, it's because you want to plant it soon. Now, if you're plowing a field of trees or just among your trees, it's because you want the water to soak in there and help it right now. So it's not really preparation for next year. So until when? Beit Shammai omrim, kol zman shu yafe lepri. Beit Shammai says, as long as it's good for the fruits. The plowing lets the water get into the roots and nurture the fruits that are there right now already. Beit Hillel omrim ad atzeret. He says until atzeret, which is the Mishnaic term for Shavuos. So it's coming up. So the Mishnah concludes, Krovin divrei elu liot kedivrei elu. These words are close together. There are other Mishnayos that list when Beis Shammai is Mekel. Beis Shammai is usually Machmer over Beis Hillel. You've probably heard of this concept. So some Mishnayos list when they're Mekel. So you might have thought this Mishnah goes on the list. So it doesn't, because it's not always the same. When Beis Shammai says, Kol zman shu yafe lepri, maybe it's Iyar, maybe it's Rosh Chodesh Iyar, maybe it's closer to Shavuos, maybe it's even after Shavuos. So it's not necessarily a chumrah, it could be a kula, depending on the agricultural conditions and the rainfall and the trees we're dealing with. And again, back 2,000 years ago, they were more in tune and had more expertise and experience dealing with trees, dealing with fields and agricultural produce. So they had a better idea what was good for the trees. So it's not always a chumrah, not always a kula. Moving on to Mishnah Bet. Ezehu stei ilan. What is a field of trees? I thought you'd never ask. Kol shlosha ilanot lebeit seah. It's at least 3 trees in a beit seah. Now, a seah is a measurement of weight, but a beit seah is a measurement of area. And it's how much area we'd plant a seah measure of seeds, of grain seeds. And it comes out, it's 50 by 50 amot, meaning it's about 75 by 75 feet. So if you have 3 trees in this area of 50 by 50 amot, it's considered a field of trees. Im ra'uyin lasot kikar devela. So there's another qualification. If these trees are rawi to make a kikar of devela, kikar is about 50 pounds of figs, shel shishim mana italki, and these are 60 Italian mana worth of figs. Chorshin kol beit seah b'shvilan. You can plow the entire area, including between these trees, for the sake of these trees. Because we're going to assume there's a lot of produce coming off of these trees. They need a lot of water soaking in. So go ahead and plow the entire area in between these trees, because they need it to make this level of produce. There's a machlokas if this is from each tree or from all 3 trees put together. Pachot mikan, if they don't make so much produce, ein chorshin lahen, you don't plow for them the entire area. Ela, only melo ha'ore v'salo, only the area of the plucker, the date plucker, and his basket, chutzalo, behind him. So if the date picker is standing next to the date tree, and he's got his basket behind him to throw the dates into, So understand it's not a very large area. It's just sort of a small circle around the date tree. It is interesting that we call him an ore. Ore means a fig picker. So ore is specific for figs, and we see another Mishnah, kotzer is specific for grains, botzer for grapes, and goder for dates. And it turns out, mesik for olives, so it comes out that all of the Shiva Saminim, all of the 7 species for which Eretz Yisrael is praised, has its own verb. So similarly, like Eskimos famously have many words for snow because snow comes in a lot of variations. For us, it's just snow, but for Eskimos, there's dozens of types of snow. So the ancient Am Yisrael anciently was an agricultural society. We had a lot of different words for different kinds of hoeing, planting, reaping, harvesting, different terms. But there's one exception. That's the rimonim, the pomegranates. So Rabbi Say, the challenge out there is if you find a verb, a word in Hebrew specifically referring to pomegranates, I will buy you a bottle of pomegranate juice or a beer or whatever you like. So that's my challenge to you, Rabosai. Mazel tov and shkoyach on starting Sheviit. Tizku mitzvahs.